Painting day. Got my nice paint roller here. I'm gonna paint the walls, and it's ready to go. Just gotta stick it in my paint can. Can't get this to work. It doesn't fit. This could only be the work of the diameter. So you'll notice that the top of the paint can is a circle, very similar to the circle that I've made here with some Cheerios. Now, because it's a circle, it has a few different properties that we could talk about. Now, I'm going to introduce to you guys three new vocabulary words today. The first vocabulary word that I'm going to talk about is a special name for the perimeter of the circle. Now, remember when we're talking about the perimeter, we're talking about around the outside. So around the outside of a circle or the perimeter of a circle has a special name, and the perimeter of a circle is called this is a big word, it's called the circumference. Circumference. And circumference is the perimeter of a circle. So when we're thinking about the outside of a circle, and notice it's curved instead of straight lines, we're talking about the circumference. The second word that we're going to talk about here is actually what I'm showing in this picture right here. And it's actually thinking about starting in the center of the circle. So the center of the circle is the spot directly in the middle. And the center of the circle is equally distant from every point on the circle. And when we're talking about the center of the circle, and we're talking about a line that goes to the circle. So it starts in the center and then ends up at touching a point on the circle. We call this point or this line here, we call that A radius of the circle. Now, an interesting thing about the radius is it could be any line that starts at the center and goes to the circle. So, for instance, that is a radius of the circle. That is a radius of the circle. That is a radius of the circle. And all of those radiuses are all going to be the exact same length. All right. And the third word we're going to talk about here is called this is the one I talked about just previously, is called the diameter. Let's write that up here, diameter. And the diameter is basically going from one point on the circle, which would be up here, to another point on the circle, which would be down here. But the diameter always passes through the center. So it's always going to pass right through the center of my circle, and it connects 2 points on the circle. So that would be a diameter, but we could also say that this would be a diameter, or this would be a diameter. And the interesting thing about the diameters is, again, they will all be the same length. Now, just quickly to think about a relationship between the diameter and the radius, you may notice that the radius is similar to the diameter, but the radius is exactly half of the diameter. So basically, if we cut our diameter here in half, which would just be, for instance, this, then that would be considered a radius of the circle. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is how does the diameter here and the radius here compare to the circumference of the circle. And that's going to be and how might we use those things to find the circumference or the perimeter of a circle. And that's what we're going to be looking a little bit